Well, Cam Newton and the Panthers hope that they will be trumpeted into the postseason with 2 victories and a loss by the New Orleans Saints. You see the weather today, 52 degrees, cloud cover. The sun is supposed to pop through as the day moves on. The Browns won the toss. They deferred. Lanning, their punter, will kick off for the Browns. 2 men back deep to receive. Fozzie Whitaker is one, and Brenton Burson is the other. There's Whitaker. We're ready to go. Cleveland and Carolina. Carolina still with a chance for the postseason. Cleveland has been eliminated. Fozzie Whitaker will take it out, and he's brought down at the 22-yard line. Special teams tackle made by Craig Robertson. All right, so Cam Newton's been a big topic of conversation, not only here in Carolina, but also around the National Football League. Would he be healthy enough to play today?
I was talking to Ron Rivera before the game, and I asked him, how did he feel? How does Cam Newton look? And he said the interesting thing was that as the week went on, and the more the offense, the more the team saw Cam Newton in the huddle, they started to respond. They started to get excited. And so they are very glad that he is back healthy and leading this offense.
Well, he's under center to start things off. Offset I formation behind him with Mike Tolbert as the fullback. And the first play of the game is a handoff to Jonathan Stewart running left. And he gains 8 on the play. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's ball game. We begin with the Panthers. Ryan Khalil, he is the focal point. He's the guy that gets those rookies, one to his right, one to his left going. Obviously, Jonathan Stewart getting the start today. D'Angelo Williams out with the broken hands. And Stewart, who's run very well the last couple of weeks with Williams being out. He gains 8 on the first down. So it'll be second down and 2. Cam Newton didn't show any rust at all in practice this past week. We get a chance to watch him. Here's his first throw of the day, or maybe his first run of the day. And he's going to slide down. Ron Rivera said he needs to know when he should slide down. Let's take a look at the Browns starting lineup for this afternoon's ball game. They got a whopper of a player back, which we'll get to in just a second. But their defensive front, Desmond Bryant, the 6-year pro out of Harvard. He's had a solid year, but how about getting Carlos Dansby back? Dansby's been battling a knee injury. Buster Screen with the injury to Joe Hayden slides over. It'll be first down for the Panthers. And here's Newton again running for the second time. Bad back and all. He's out toward midfield. But we mentioned the Panthers have to win 2, and they have to hope the Saints lose 1 in order to get to the postseason. The Browns eliminated last night with just an unbelievable comeback by the San Diego Chargers. That makes you feel a little bit better if you're Carolina to see him run these first 2 times.
It's a big part of their offense. They cannot be one-dimensional, whether it's Cam Newton in the quarterback run game or if it's Jonathan Stewart doing it with the running back.
Gain of 15 on that run by Newton. Here's Stewart. He'll get maybe a yard before he's wrapped up and taken down by Desmond Bryant.
Tom, that was one of the big questions today is how would Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, decide to use Cam Newton? Because this offense is built through the running game, and they've had some good success here in the last 3 games with Jonathan Stewart. But the big question, and what I see, is they really function well when it's Cam Newton causing the defense to make those adjustments and then capitalizing on the perimeter when the defense tries to take away the quarterback.
A lot of things being said this past week, including the fact that Derek Anderson filled in nicely last week for Cam Newton. Here's second down, passing Newton to the middle. Pass is complete to the middle. Jericho Cotchery, he's been such a big influence on this Panthers receiving core. He gains 13 and another first down.
The big thing that jumps out at you here in this drive, playing against a very aggressive Cleveland secondary that loves to play man-to-man coverage and press at the line of scrimmage. We've seen twice now Cam audibling at the line of scrimmage, trying to take a shot downtown and isolate his big wide receiver, Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, the coaches talked on Friday about Benjamin, but also the influence that Cotchery's had on Benjamin and the other young receivers like Philly Brown. Gain of 18. Cotchery is spread out to the far side. Needing to throw again, slings it over the head of Benjamin. Well, for Cam Newton, getting back onto the field is a good thing, but also playing in December has been a good thing. Not so much, though, for the Cleveland Browns. Mike Benton knows that kind of follows a team from year to year when they struggle in a particular month.
Well, the big thing when we talked to Coach Pettin last night is he said, look, we had a chance this year to play meaningful games in November and December, and that's a great thing. Cleveland hasn't had that, but the key is now to be able to win those games in December. Cam Newton, a big reason for that.
Second down, Newton scrambling around. Here's Cotry, grabs it off the bobble. He's fortunate. Robert Nelson was right there, but Nelson going for the pick wasn't able to corral it.
One of the things they pride themselves in this secondary is their ability to contest catches. And Robert Nelson came here to the Cleveland Browns as a tryout here in the offseason. He gets his chance here today. Cam Newton throwing the ball late. Nelson trying to make a big play coming underneath, but missing.
The handoff going to Stewart. He's hitting the backfield, and he's taken down for a loss. Chris Kirksey, Billy Wynn, they were all there. What a play defensively, but give some credit to Carlos Dansby getting into the backfield.
A big issue last week when you talked to Jim O'Neill, the defensive coordinator, was the fact that they were terrible on the edges against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that was the big point of emphasis against the Carolina offense that loves to run inside. That time Kirksey beats the block of Greg Olsen and makes a big play in the backfield.
So here is a 49-yard field goal attempt by Graham Gano. He was busy last week. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is no good. Wide to the right. Well, the first possession of the day, not so great for the Panthers. No points. We'll see Johnny Manziel when we return. Well, Graham Gano missed one field goal last week. He was a big part of the scoring for the Carolina Panthers, and he misses this field goal attempt here at 49 yards. And Ron Rivera, what does he say? You've got to be kidding me. Again, the Panthers need to win 2 and get a New Orleans loss in order to get it to the postseason. So every point is a big deal. And Johnny Manziel's first pass of the day off the mark. Johnny 10 of 18 for 80 yards during limited action so far this year. And last week, 10 of 18 against the Cincinnati Bengals, 13 rushing yards. Second youngest quarterback to start in team history. It'll be second down from the 39. Here's Crowell running right. They need to get him going. Slowed on the edge, and he dives forward to the 42. Let's take a look at the Cleveland Browns offense to start. A lot of emphasis has been on the offensive line. Joe Thomas is the leader, the 7-time Pro Bowler. Ryan Seymour at center, though, is a guy that you're looking at to be functional. Josh Gordon, he's got to make an impact here. You said it during the open, Adam. He's got to make an impact today for Johnny Manziel to be effective.
He does, and this offense has to start much faster than they did last week against the Bengals. Before Johnny Manziel lined up for his third snap of the series, they had 2 3-and-outs, and they were down 17-0. So right now, this 3rd and 7 is crucial to get some confidence.
3rd and 7, they need to get across the 49 for a first down. From the shotgun, Manziel dancing around. He feels comfortable this way, and he's unable to get to the first down marker before he is shouldered out of bounds. Star Lotulelei.
Well, the big thing for Johnny Manziel is his decision-making, and not necessarily making the right or the wrong decision, but just making it quickly. Again, you see him set up. He doesn't like what he sees, and he doesn't really seem to have that backup plan on how to get to his second wide receiver. He gets out of the pocket, but he just can't make up enough ground. It's 4th and 3, and another 3-and-out for the offense.
Landing on the punt, Burson back deep to receive. This is a high punt, and a fair catch called, and Burson will grab it at the 18. So a second opportunity for Cam Newton and the Panthers. We're scoreless here in the first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever. And by Bank of America.
Midwood Smokehouse voted one of the top barbecue restaurants in all of the South, led by general manager Richie Haddix. Boy, that looked good as we get set for the Panthers' second series of the first quarter. From the 19, Cam Newton with that inverted wishbone. We'll see that a lot today. And the pass to Cotry. And Cotry out of bounds. Desir in on the tackle, and a quick update. Boy, scoring already in New Orleans. The Saints on top of the Falcons 7-3. Panther fans, you know, Luke Kuechly told us that they are looking a little bit. There's no question about it. They know where they stand. Ron Rivera said they talked about it during practice this week. 2 wins by the Panthers and at least 1 New Orleans loss will get the Panthers into the postseason. And how about this dancing by Stewart? Kirksey in on a tackle. Ron Rivera knows exactly what the scenario is. Clinched the NFC South with 2 wins and 1 New Orleans loss. They could be in the postseason, Adam, with a less than 500 record.
That would be something. And they know exactly what they have to do. They feel like in the last 2 games of the season, they're playing their best football, and they're poised to make a big push here in the last 2 games.
On first down, Newton looking to throw, and he just gets rid of it. It's his 5th pass of the first quarter. Tomorrow, these geniuses can solve any problem, but they can't do it without each other. Don't miss the new hit series Scorpion tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Good decision by Cam Newton.
Well, the thing is for Carolina to be successful here today, they have to be able to stay on schedule. That was a big point that was driven home by their offensive coordinator, Mike Shula, because when this offense becomes one-dimensional, that's when the strength of this Cleveland defense can show.
Mike Tolbert in the backfield next to Cam Newton on second down. Pass is complete to Philly Brown, spun around at the 40. There is a flag down on the far side of the field. Ed Hockley is the referee today, his crew. The play was on the near side. The flag was thrown on the far side of the field. A lot of discussion going on about where the penalty occurred.
Illegal hands to the face, defense, number 26. It's a 5-yard penalty that's enforced in the previous spot and has an automatic first down.
Mike Pettin has liked the way Pierre Desir has sort of settled in, getting some extra time, the rookie from Lindenwood, but he's called for the penalty there.
Yeah, illegal hands to the face. Cam Newton was looking over to the left side of the field. Didn't like what he saw. His pass protection was incredible, and he throws a bullet out there to his wide receiver. Desir had pretty good coverage right there, but because of the hands to the face, it's a penalty. Automatic first down.
Tolbert stays in the ball game on first down from the 37. 3 receivers, including Olsen to the far side. Benjamin isolated to the near side. Covered by Desir. And the handoff going to Tolbert. Tolbert doing some dancing before he gets across the 40 to the 41. A gain of 4. Let's check in with JB in New York.
You guys saw the score. Here's how it happened for the Saints.
I tell you what, Saints win and Carolina lost, and they're in. And Jalen Saunders means business. Opening kickoff, he takes it 99 yards, and the Saints are coming out on fire. He's caught on the 1-yard line, later punched in by Mark Ingram. New Orleans leads 7-3.
Tom McCarthy, Adam Archuleta.
All right, guys, well, that is no doubt an energetic crowd, energized even more. There you see the standings in the NFC South. And up again to Tolbert on second down, not much there. Ishmaeli Kitchen in on the tackle for the Browns. Maybe a gain of 1, it'll be third down. Ball sits at the 42-yard line. We'll see a rotation today of Jonathan Stewart, Mike Tolbert, and a little Fozzie Whitaker in the backfield for the Carolina Panthers. D'Angelo Williams faced with a broken bone in his hands. He did practice this week, but he can't really play because he can't pass protect more than anything else or catch the football. On third down, Newton looking to throw, far side, Philly Brown. Well, with Joe Hayden not in there, it does put pressure at him on the other guys in the secondary.
Well, I like what I'm seeing right now from Cam Newton, how he's surveying the field. He's looking this way the entire time. Again, looking for Kelvin Benjamin on the right side, and then the protection is excellent. He goes all the way back to the other side of the field, and Philly Brown is able to get open against Desir. Nicely played by Cam Newton, working the entire field.
See the difference in first downs already. That's the 6th for the Panthers. Here's Stewart, who bursts and then spins inside the 35. Thankfully, Jim Leonard wrapped him at the waist, and Poyer was there to help out too after a gain of 17.
Well, Byron Bell, the left tackle, was able to get inside on the linebacker right here, and a nice piece of running by Jonathan Stewart to get upfield. And boy, Jonathan Stewart here in the last 3 games has been on fire.
Well, he'll get it again on first down, and again he's got some daylight. Dante Whitner makes the tackle inside the 20. It is amazing that they have such a good tandem of D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. One goes down, the other comes in.
Well, it's been Jonathan Stewart who's kind of been hampered by injuries, and the fact that he's been able to be healthy here of late has been a big reason why we're starting to see the talent that he has.
6 carries, 41 yards. Tolbert takes over in the backfield, and the bigger of the backs gets down to the 10. Well, they're in the red zone, and obviously last week some good and bad in the red zone. This is defensively, this is the good. This is the bad, though, with Jonathan Stewart fumbling the ball.
It's been a big point of emphasis, trying to score touchdowns in the red zone. They said, we can't panic. We can't try and take a shot every time we get at the 20-yard line. The key is let's just make first downs, and then we're going to find our way in the end zone.
Second down and less than 3. They can get another first down. It's funny how that was the pattern of conversation when we talked to Mike Shula and the players this past week. Tolbert again. Trying to get to the edge, steps inside. He's got a first down. Boy, he is powerful. The 7th-year pro out of Coastal Carolina. That is the 9th first down of this first quarter for Ron Rivera's team.
5'9", 243 pounds, but showing a little bit of moves. Excellent block by his tight end, Greg Olson. There at the point, he has a shifty little sidestep, gets upfield, gets some tough yards.
Well, you just saw the numbers, touchdown percentage, and obviously Greg Olson, who has not caught a pass yet today, 6 touchdown receptions on the year. He's a guy you always have to focus on if you're the Cleveland Browns this deep into their ends. Newton's pass is incomplete. A little extra zip on it. Dansby in on the coverage of Tolbert.
That was great coverage by Dansby in the middle, reading Tolbert, going into the flat. And there was really nowhere for Cam Newton to throw. The very first read was Greg Olson. He was covered. Dansby comes over, takes a shot on Tolbert. Excellent, well played by the Cleveland defense.
Such a big boost, they say, to have Dansby's voice back in the huddle, but also what he did just there, covering the receiver out of the backfield. An excellent year, fighting off a knee injury back this week. Dixon's in motion, the pitch going to Stewart, trying to find a blocker. They take it down at the 4, and Dansby again makes the tackle. Third down, Adam. We said before that they don't want to necessarily always take a shot to the end zone, but what do they do here?
Well, this is traditionally the place. Remember, Cam Newton does a very good job here in the red zone with the quarterback draw. Now the question is, with his injury, are they going to run him up inside and expose him to taking a shot? But this is the place where you have to be heads up, especially here in the spread formation for Cam Newton to try and take it up the middle.
Third and goal from inside the 5. He has 3 receivers off to his left. Olsen's to his right. Looking to throw, lofts it toward the back corner of the end zone. He overthrows Benjamin, trying to use his height against Jordan Poyer. And they'll have to settle for another field goal attempt.
Well, this is a great job by Jordan Poyer. Benjamin, number 13, right there in the inside slot. They're playing combination coverage. And even with that size advantage in the red zone, something that they wanted to try and exploit, to make that Cleveland secondary prove that they can match up with a wide receiver of Benjamin's size. Nicely played by Cleveland, forcing another field goal.
23-yard attempt by Graham Gano. He's already missed a 49-yarder. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way. It's a chip shot. And the Panthers have the lead. 2:47 to play here in the first quarter. 16 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football at NBC. Then tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Well, that's a heck of a matchup right there. The Bengals trying to win the AFC North. The Broncos, they know they're in, but they're trying to get better positioning in the AFC playoffs.
They need that positioning.
Graham Gano is 1 for 2 on field goal attempts. He gives the Panthers a 3-0 lead. Sean Drawn is back deep to receive, and he will not get a chance to return this one. So Johnny Manziel and the Browns, their second chance when we come back to Carolina. Back inside Bank of America Stadium, Johnny Manziel will go to work with his second possession of the first half. Off the play fake, Manziel looking to throw, and he finds his tight end, Jordan Cameron, for a short gain. Luke Kuechly in on the coverage. Good thing he got rid of that. Charles Johnson was right in his back pocket.
Well, one thing you know when you play against a guy like Manziel who loves to escape the pocket, especially in this type of an offense, is that you got to be able to play those bootlegs. So the defensive end, in this case, Charles Johnson, goes upfield. Now, the fact that he went upfield so much, that should open up the cutback on a zone play away. So look for the Browns maybe to hand that ball off next time and try and take advantage of Johnson's aggressiveness.
Mike Pettin told us yesterday, he told Johnny Manziel, if the play is there, take it. Be you.
Timeout, Cleveland. That's their first.
So the Browns need a timeout. 2:05 to play here in the first quarter. They trail at 3-0. Johnny Manziel will go over to the sidelines, get a little advice, and then come back out. Second down off the timeout. Johnny Manziel in the pistol formation, trying to get the receivers straightened out. Moving Josh Gordon away from the line of scrimmage. And that ball is batted by Charles Johnson, incomplete. It'll be third down. I thought Charles Johnson played an excellent game last week for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, he started to really come on. He was hurt earlier in the season, so his impact wasn't as big. But lately here, he has been on fire. And again, twice early in this game affecting Johnny Manziel as he rolls out to his side.
Johnny Manziel told us yesterday that his pre-snap awareness is something he's trying to work on, assessing the defense almost immediately once the huddle breaks. He's trying to get his receivers in motion. That's Andrew Hawkins in motion. Play clock is down to 1. Manziel on third down, slips it toward the middle, and the pass is complete to Hawkins for a first down inside Carolina territory. I have to say, last week that pass was overthrown by Johnny Manziel.
Oh, this is probably the best executed play that the Cleveland Browns offensively in the passing game have had since Manziel has been quarterback. He sets up in the pocket. He allows Hawkins to clear the DBs. He sets his feet with good footwork and then fires a bullet accurately down the field.
Footwork was a big storyline this week for the Browns in assessing Johnny Manziel. Here's Crowell. They try to flea flicker, it looked like, and Crowell could not get the ball back to Manziel. It's a loss on the play.
Boy, if that was in fact a flea flicker, I think that was extremely ill-timed. This offense, in my eyes, has to be able to execute their run game. And they've got to make sure that a guy like Isaiah Crowell can get his carries, can get into that 20 carry mark in this game. But to go for a trick play, to have penetration, now you're sitting here at 2nd and 13. Very challenging place for this offense to be.
Well, the rookie out of Alabama State, an undrafted free agent. The inside handoff going to Crowell, and he lowers his shoulder before Kuechly wraps him up at the 47.
Well, this was nicely done. Johnny Manziel setting up as if he's throwing a pass, getting the linebackers, Luke Kuechly, to drop in zone coverage, giving it to his running back, and an excellent cut by Crowell to pick up 5 yards. At least now you're in a 3rd and 8. And one thing that they did last week very poorly, a lot of 3rd and long situations that were almost impossible to convert.
Well, that will be the final play of the first quarter. Last week, the Browns got inside the opposition's territory, the Bengals, one time. They've done that here today in the first quarter. 3-0 Panthers will return to Charlotte after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. We get set for the second quarter to get underway. Panthers lead at 3-0. This will be the third down for the Browns in this first half. 3rd down and 8. Manziel to throw. Pass is incomplete. What a hit, and here come the flags. Oh, my. Josh Norman, I thought last week against Mike Evans of Tampa Bay, was as physical a corner as you will find, and that was physical right there. Did he lead with his helmet, though? I guess that's the big question.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, hit against the defenseless receiver. That's 15 yards from the previous spot and a first down.
Well, you played in the secondary. Do you agree with this penalty?
Boy, initially, when it happened live, it looked like it was great timing on Norman's part. This was trap coverage. And the question, he goes in there with his shoulder. Now, the question is, does the helmet, the crown of his helmet is down, but I think it does look like he does crown of the helmet to the side of the receiver's helmet. And even though I don't necessarily agree with it and I don't like it, the way the game is now, that's probably a good call.
Andrew Hawkins is being looked at on the sidelines. He's back in. He'll take the handoff running left, and he's down close to the 30. A gain of 2. Well, give Andrew Hawkins credit because he took that lick. He went over for a moment and then ran back in to continue on with this drive. So it'll be second down for the Browns. Josh Norman, the third-year pro out of Coastal Carolina. He and Ben Wickery have done a nice job as the cornerbacks for the Panthers. Norman's coming up to the line of scrimmage. Crowell takes the handoff and gets inside the 25 before he's stopped. Roman Harper, Darius Blanton in on the tackle for the Panthers.
That's pretty interesting here. Taylor Gabriel, the wide receiver who's 5'8", 167 pounds, they motion him in between the guard and the tackle, and they use him as a lead blocker.
Well, it's third down and 2, 1 for 3 on third down opportunities so far today.
This is
the last one.
This is a much better place for the Browns to be because now you don't have to use a traditional drop back game, and this is where Johnny Manziel's mobility to come into play.
Takes the high snap, quick toss to the near side. It's complete to Josh Gordon, and Gordon's got a first down inside the 20.
Manziel has to corral the high snap. They put 3 receivers to the left side of the formation to try and get a lot of space between Gordon and the inside linebacker to create the alley. Johnny Manziel takes the snap, is decisive with his read, puts it in a great spot, and not sure, it doesn't look like Gordon came down with it.
Yeah, Ron Rivera just threw the challenge flag as he saw it up on the board as we showed it. So he does not think Gordon had command of that football. So we'll see. Ed Hockley will go over and chat with Ron Rivera. 12:56 to play here in the first half. Walk us through this here, Adam.
I think it's clear right here.
Challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was complete.
You can see he doesn't have control of the ball. There's movement. It's going to be fourth down.
Well, Ed Hockley is heading back onto the field. He has conferred with the replay booth and also the folks in New York, and here's the decision.
The ball came out when the ball hit the ground as the receiver was trying to catch it. Therefore, the pass was incomplete. It's fourth down on the 25-yard line. Please reset the clock to 13:29. 13:29 of the clock, and there are no timeouts charged.
So it'll be fourth down. Our officiating expert, Mike Carey. Mike, what did you see on this?
Well, what I saw in this one is enough to leave this stand. You can see with this shot that his right hand comes off, but from the other angle, you'll see that his left hand keeps firm control and is under the ball on the left side. So that one I would have, if I was in the booth, I would let the rule on the field stand.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, it turns out to be a fourth down, and the Browns will attempt a 43-yard field goal. Here is Garrett Hartley, who is filling in for the injured Billy Cundiff. It is good. We are tied at 3, 13:25 to play here in the first half. Well, 10 plays, 55 yards, a 43-yard field goal by Garrett Hartley has tied this ball game up at 3 with 13:25 to play. Some positives. Saturday, CBS Sports rings in the bowl season with 2 high-octane scoring machines as the Arizona State Sun Devils tangle with the Duke Blue Devils. in the Sun Bowl. Now, we always think that Adam is an expert on a lot of things, but you're an expert on the Sun Bowl.
Yeah, the Sun Bowl. It has a very special place in my heart. I had 2 special teams tackles back in 1997 against Tim Dwight, the great kickoff returner. So there you go. We beat Iowa 19-zip.
It's always, as far as I'm concerned, as a football fan, it's always one of those bowls that you take a look at each and every year. Cam Newton is flushed out as a receiver with the Wildcat, but he's going to settle back under center. On first down, he'll throw looking long, far side of the field, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Philly Brown. Let's go to New York for an update, JB.
Green Bay's ground attack.
Yes, Eddie Lacy right here is going to make a nice cut, breaking through arm tackle. The big man is going to take it 44 yards for the score. Green Bay up 7-0 in Tampa.
Green Bay clinches a playoff spot with a win. Back to Tom and Adam.
Yeah, JB, after last week's loss to the Bills, I think a lot of people were shocked by that. But Green Bay, if they do win, they clinch a playoff berth. Detroit Lions, part of that same division, clinched one with the Redskins' victory yesterday over the Eagles. On second down, here's Stewart. Kruger wraps him up immediately, and he gets up to the 25. This is a fun time of the year. You really have to think about what's going on when it comes to the postseason.
It is very interesting. Thank God for the computer age, because without it, I don't know how anybody would be able to figure out all the different formulations on who gets in and all the different playoff scenarios.
Well, now a third down for Cam Newton with 12:53 and counting to play here in the first half. He's run the ball a few times, so he can run it if they need him to do it.
It's been more of a scrambling situation, not necessarily in the quarterback run game, but this is a perfect down and distance to get Greg Olsen involved.
Newton looking to throw, passes complete to Benjamin. His first reception of the day. He's out of bounds. Desir, one rookie to another in on the coverage.
Well, this is pretty easy. Kelvin Benjamin right here. This is just a speed out. They're going to line him tight to the formation. Desir is playing off. That's too soft. He only needs 5 yards to get a first down, and that's too easy from Cam Newton to Kelvin Benjamin.
I know you talked to Ricky Prohl before the ball game. Does he love Benjamin as much as everybody else, the receivers coach for the Panthers?
He loves his skill set. And the thing that he says about Benjamin is he is so football smart. You only have to talk about concepts once or twice before he gets it.
Stewart runs the ball on first down. Well, we talked about it during the outset. If the Panthers win 2 and the New Orleans Saints lose 1, the Panthers win the division. New Orleans has Atlanta today and then at Tampa next week. The Panthers are hoping that it's a winner-take-all final game next week against the Atlanta Falcons. That's what Ron Rivera said when we met with him a couple days ago. He said it's amazing with all the injuries and everything that's happened to them that they are in a position to still be in the postseason.
And he feels like maybe everything's kind of coming together at the right time. The running game, the offensive line has settled down, and their defense has gotten better.
Inside handoff to Stewart. And Stewart starts left, but then finds an opening to his right. And he's going to be about 2 yards shy. Kirksey and Jordan Poyer in on the tackle for the Browns.
Well, Tom, big thing that stands out to me so far is Jonathan Stewart showing great patience today. He has the physical tools. He has the speed to turn it on when he has to, but really has done a nice job of feeling the blocks of his offensive linemen and making the perfect cut.
We saw 55 yards so far today. It's all led by their center, Ryan Khalil. And here's Newton. This is a quarterback keep, and he's not able to get to the first down. The ball came loose. I believe they're going to say that he was down. Well, that was read perfectly by the Browns.
Well, this is what you had to worry about. How would Cam Newton, with his back injury, how would it affect him in his ability to make contact? It was hard to see right there if he was down from that look, but that's certainly something that has to come into play is ball security. Excellent job by Dante Whitner beating the block of Jonathan Stewart and making that play on Newton.
First punt of the day, Nortman just gets that one off. It's a high kick. Jim Leonard back deep to receive, fields it after the fair catch at the 21. So tied at 3 and just a hair under 10 to play here in the first half. Get the fastest sports scores and updates with the CBS Sports app, the fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now. Well, with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. All right, you see the comparison between the two former Heisman Trophy winners. Manziel, 2 of 6, 31 yards. Cam Newton, I think they're just thankful he's healthy. He's run the ball a few times. He's completed 5 passes.
I think the key for Johnny Manziel and the Browns offense is they must get the ground game going, but I also think Jordan Cameron has to start to make an appearance.
Well, here's Crowell. They have to get some positive yards on first down, and they do there, up across the 25. It's a gain of 4. So that's the 4th first down that they've had. They've had a gain of 0, a gain of 3, gain of -3, a gain of 0 again, and now a gain of 4.
Well, it's key because last week you can see that there was no chance for Manziel to get any type of rhythm with the way the game played out. That was a season low, 38 plays offensively, which is almost unheard of. So for them to get a positive run on first down will at least set up Manziel with something to work with on second.
Gabriel in motion off the play fake. The quick pass to the near side is complete, but it's read perfectly. Gabriel has it. Ben Wickery was there to cover it up. Lanton came over as well.
Well, another bootleg pass. Gabriel's going to come behind the line of scrimmage, and I tell you, that is an excellent reaction right there by Bené Benwickery to come across the field to catch Gabriel and make that tackle. That is about as good as you can do it in that situation by the rookie corner.
So now a 3rd down and 5 from the 27. Drawn is in the backfield next to Manziel. Play clock down to 2. He takes the snap, throws off his back leg for touchdown. He can't hang on. The coverage was by the veteran Roman Harper. Thomas Davis was pressuring.
Well, you don't necessarily like the fact that Manziel was throwing off of his back foot on a 3-step slant, but that coverage by Roman Harper on Jordan Cameron was about as tight as it could possibly be. And so far today, we've seen this Carolina secondary that has had their issues early in the year have been excellent in their coverage against the Browns receivers.
Burson is back deep to receive. The punt coming from Lanning. Gets it off uncontested, but it almost hits a wall as it goes up. And the fair catch is called, and Burson is bumped as he grabs that ball. Marlon Moore was in on the coverage and just kept on going, and the flag is down. Flag sits at the 29. Here's Ed Hockley.
Interference with the opportunity by the kicking team, number 15. That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, that's a big penalty. It's going to give Cam Newton and the Panthers excellent field position when we return to Carolina.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it. And by Pepsi. Hype your hometown with Pepsi at Pepsi.com/halftime.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and first half analysis. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. We're tied at 3. The 15-yard penalty makes that punt a net of 30 yards. So Cam Newton, excellent field position on this series on first down from the 43. Everybody's covered. He's directing traffic. Now he's going to direct himself toward the sidelines. And there's a flag on the near side. Mingo was who flushed him out of bounds. That was in the neighborhood of Screen and Benjamin.
Holding defense, number 22. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Well, Buster Screen is in on Benjamin. That may be Joe Hayden's spot. Screen could be on the other side, but either way, it's another tough penalty that moves the ball close to midfield.
Oh, they like to be aggressive, and one of the key points was they want to see if Kelvin Benjamin, a rookie, a big target, if he can get off the line of scrimmage. And so That's just a case of being too aggressive. Buster Screen has to do a better job of not grabbing.
On first down, the handoff to Stewart, hit at the line of scrimmage and stopped. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Let's go to New York with JB for an update.
Jets won't make it easy on the Patriots.
Geno leads the team down for a 12-play, 87-yard drive, capped off by a 20-yard pass to Jeff Cumberland. Jets respond, all knotted up, 7-all in New York.
Tom McCarthy, Adam Archuleta.
All right, JB, we appreciate that. So all tied at 7 at MetLife Stadium. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 49 here in Carolina. Stewart again, and he slips one tackler and gets inside the 45 to the 44. Gain of 7. There's no doubt that folks here at Bank of America Stadium, Adam Archuleta, are looking at that score.
But they still have to take care of business. You still have to win these 2 games regardless of what happens. So I think Ron Rivera more concerned with, can my team execute, and more importantly, can we get some touchdowns on the board?
Yeah, they've outgained the Cleveland Browns on the ground 101 to 20, and overall 150 to 52 so far in this first half. But again, tied at 3. On 3rd down, it's manageable. Newton's going to keep it himself, and he'll stumble inside the 40. Boy, normally he'd want to keep on running, and it looked like he was indecisive as to whether he wanted to slide down at that point on the field.
Well, he was trying to go to the left, but I want you to take a look at Carlos Dansby. Is going to know exactly where Cam Newton is going. He's reading his eyes right there. He's in the passing lane, and that's why Cam Newton has to try and take off.
On first down, it's Cotry, and he'll get down to the 35. Gain of 3. Well, we've watched several points from Cam Newton. How does Derek Anderson point compared to Cam?
It's not bad, but I don't think it just has the same. He didn't own it. I think that's the thing. It was a nice gesture, but I don't think he owned it like he should have.
Well, we asked Cam Newton, we said, how was it last week? He said it was hard. He said, I was warned a number of times to make sure I wasn't so emotional on the sidelines. And the pass to Olsen is beyond his grasp, so it's going to be a 3rd down. All right, let's see Cam now.
See, that's owning it. That's being it right there.
Well, he is a dynamic kid. There's no doubt about it. And it seems like he and Derek Anderson have a great relationship. Anderson did a really nice job last week and was prepared, if need be, to play this week if Cam Newton couldn't go.
I think even when you talk to the coaches here, they thought that Cam, watching Derek Anderson and the way he ran the offense, was very beneficial.
On 3rd down, Newton looking to throw. Plenty of time. Near side. Caught by Benjamin. And that'll move the chains. An 18-yard gain. They say he's got big paws, and he used them right there.
Well, if you notice one thing so far, every time Newton goes to the drop back pass, his protection up front has been outstanding, and this is a Cleveland defensive front that likes to put pressure on the quarterback.
So 1st down for the 17. Jonathan Stewart in the backfield. Dixon, and we've got movement.
False start offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, it's 1st down.
Well, this is a brilliant grab by a rookie receiver that's really come of age.
This took a long time to develop, and you see Desir in the coverage. He tries to undercut Benjamin, but that's what you kind of see. You saw it from Benjamin at Florida State, his ability to make that spectacular catch. And he's done the exact same thing this season for the Carolina Panthers.
Well, you see the rookie crop of receivers that are really making an impact for their respective clubs.
I don't know if I've ever seen a class that has come in a position that's very difficult to learn and have an impact of a rookie, but that many good rookies is pretty incredible.
1st down at 15 from the 22 after the penalty. Calling out an audible. The play clock is down to 2. Takes it on 1. He'll keep it himself, and he's trying to move away from the defensive line. He dives forward to the 15. Dante Whitner makes the tackle for the Browns.
There's a situation Cam Newton sees that it's zone coverage. Look, you have one linebacker right here, and you have all these offensive linemen. That just understanding that he has the advantage. They have the numbers. He's able to break the line of scrimmage, gets good blocking up front. And that's the dimension that you got to be able to account for when you have a quarterback like Newton.
6 carries so far for Cam Newton. He'll throw, and his pass is complete to his tight end, Ed Dixon, down to the 5. Craig Robertson in on the coverage for the Browns, a gain of 11.
Well, one of the more underrated players here for this offense, Ed Dixon, who provides so much flexibility in their ability to run different formations. Cam Newton, again, perfect timing, great footwork, and calmly flicks it out to his tight end for a big pickup.
Coaches couldn't talk any more highly about Ed Dixon. They say that the difficulties they've had in the backfield, he's also played a lot of fullback for them. Johnny Manziel is hoping his defense can slow up the Panthers here on 1st and goal from the 5. The handoff to Stewart. Tolbert's leading the way, and Stewart gets down to the 2. All right, so red zone has been a problem for the Panthers. They were deep inside the Browns' end earlier in this game, settled for a field goal. Here they are again.
Yeah, the Browns defense doing a really good job, as they have the entire season when they get backed up. And I think for the Panthers, they tried to run a play-action pass.
64 reports eligible.
They tried to run a play-action pass. Their last trip inside the red zone, it was covered perfectly by Carlos Dansby. I really think that Cam Newton running some sort of a bootleg here would be the perfect play.
Dixon's in motion. The handoff to Tolbert, hit at the line of scrimmage by Robertson. Well, they got to the edge. That was a big point for the Browns, was to get to the edge on these particular plays.
Boy, Craig Robertson, look at how tight he scrapes once he decides to read this play. That is as tight as it gets. Makes contact in the backfield. That's how you play run defense.
Well, we've got an injured Browns player down on the field. Rubin is back up on his behind. We'll be back after this. Well, the last run by the guy on the right, Mike Tolbert, resulted in an injury to Rubin on the left. He walked off, but Tolbert also took a licking right to the forehead.
It's a big-time collision.
And he was bleeding, so they tended to him during the timeout. He's okay to continue. They'll look at Rubin on the sidelines. See the drive so far. It's a little more than 6 minutes in length. All Johnny Manziel could do is sit and watch. They may let this wind down to the 2-minute warning. In fact, that seems to be what Cam Newton wants to do. He's content to stay in the huddle and then head over to the sidelines. So we've reached the 2-minute warning here in Carolina. The Panthers are knocking on the door. Well, Mike Tolbert being tended to a few moments ago because he had a gash on his forehead after his plunge toward the 1-yard line. He was stopped closer to the 2. So here we are, 3rd down and goal from right around the 2. He's the deep man in the I formation. Dixon in motion, off the play fake. Newton looking around, and he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers. Superman has returned. It's a 9-3 Carolina lead after a 12-play drive. So difficult when you got a quarterback that can do that.
Now, everybody knows, I'm sure everybody on the Cleveland Browns defense knew that at some point this was coming. I called for it 2 plays ago, but on the goal line, when everybody's bunched in tight, you have a lead blocker, Greg Olsen at the tight end spot. That's really challenging, really tough to stop.
Godot's point after is good. It's 10-3 Carolina, under 2 to play here in the first half. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and first half analysis. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. The guys will also talk about how important these games are. The game between the Saints and the Falcons, and the game here between the Panthers and the Browns. The Browns were officially eliminated last night after the Chargers' incredible overtime victory over the San Francisco 49ers. But for Carolina, they need to win 2 and get the Saints to lose 1 for Cam Newton to get into the postseason. Well, he's done his job today. It's a 10-3 Carolina lead. And the Browns will get it back. Drawn is back deep to receive for Cleveland. And Graham Gano's kickoff is going to go out of the end zone. Well, this is a thing of beauty right here for Cam Newton.
It's so tough because everything's coming to the left. And so you get all this pursuit. And then off of the play fake, Greg Olsen is going to be the tight end at the top of the screen. But right here, look at the last second, he knows, and he's going to turn his sights on the linebacker, number 51 right there, Barkevius Mingo. And there's no second level, no second support to get to Cam Newton, and he's too fast. He easily hits the edge.
I know you talked to Mike Pettin yesterday about the different blocking schemes that the Panthers put together and how tough it is to defend it when you have a guy like Cam Newton.
Especially a guy that could take advantage on one-on-one coverage and throw the ball down the field.
Here's Manziel. He's going to try to keep this one. Nothing doing. Kuechly there to nail him out of bounds. Colin Jones there as well. Take a listen. And Johnny Manziel is hurt on the far side of the field. He's being looked at right now. Brian Hoyer is warming up. There's Hoyer.
Tom, it's exactly what everybody talks about with Manziel and his size. 6 foot, 207 pounds. And we're talking about a former Defensive Player of the Year in Luke Kuechly. Colin Jones is the one that puts the shot on him. But there's a reason why they say you have to be able to play the game from the pocket, that when you get outside, even there by the sideline, those shots that NFL defensive players that can put on the quarterback can be deadly.
Well, he is slow to get up onto his feet, being helped off the field. Watch it again. You're right, it was Jones, the fourth-year pro out of TCU, that applied the initial hit.
It was a great job by Jones getting off the block. I mean, Kuechly, the speed to run from his middle linebacker position also to get in on that.
So the Browns are without their starting quarterback, Johnny Manziel. They're also without their starting center, Ryan Seymour. He's out, and Nick McDonald is in as the center. So here's Hoyer. He's done a lot of good this year, but he trailed off before they made the switch at quarterback.
They had an issue throwing interceptions, had some overthrows against Indianapolis that really would have allowed the Browns to play and win in that game. He's got another chance.
Second down and 11, and his pass is incomplete, intended for Hawkins. Well, prior to Johnny Manziel starting, here's Brian Hoyer's numbers. 1 and 3, completion percentage at 50, but 8 interceptions and just 1 touchdown.
They gave him every single opportunity because at one point this season and at the end of last season he played very well. But there were just some points in the last few games where ball security became an issue and just the inability to not maximize on his opportunities. But this is the interesting thing. They've changed their offense for Johnny Manziel. So right now, this offense has to go back to what Brian Hoyer does.
On third down, Hoyer looking to throw. Flags have been thrown already. He's got time. Throws toward the middle, and it's caught. What a grab by Josh Gordon. But will it come back? We'll find out. Charles Johnson is saying that it will come back. He's pointing, and here come the Browns. They're walking back. So forget about the 23-yard gain.
Illegal shift offense. There were 2 men moving. It did not reset for a second. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Well, Mike Pettin talked about accountability, that everybody has to do their jobs in order for everybody to be successful. Johnny Manziel heading toward the locker room after the hit on this drive. Knocked him out of the game. We'll try to get you an update as soon as we get one. More importantly now for the Browns, it's third down and 16. They're down by 7 with 1:34 to play here in the first half. Hoyer out of the shotgun to the middle of the field. Here's Gordon again. Kuechly is trying to wrap him up, and he does. And he's well shy of the first down, so it'll be fourth down, and the Browns will be forced to punt the ball away.
The big issue here now for the Cleveland Browns is just the style of offense.
Timeout, Carolina. That's their first. It's a 30-second timeout.
So Carolina now with 2 timeouts left with 1:18 to play here in the first half. They may add a few seconds to the overall game time, and they do. They add 7 seconds.
So the issue, Tom, is the style of offense, because when Johnny Manziel took over, Kyle Shanahan and this offensive staff had to change the way they do things. And so it wasn't just Johnny learning how to play football, but all the offensive players around them trying to learn a new scheme. So getting them on the same page has been a tremendous challenge. Right now, they've practiced one way, one offense the entire week. Now, Brian Hoyer is going to have to come in, and if they don't change the offense back, which I don't know if they can, is going to have to play in an offense that's suited for Johnny Manziel.
There's Hoyer talking to Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator. Burson is back deep to receive. He stands inside his 25, landing on the punt. Lanning gets this one off, and Burson will try to return. He'll start for the 23, and he slips through the defense across the 40 as flags come in, and he gets up close to the 48-yard line. Jordan Hoyer in on the special teams tackle. They push the flag all the way back to the 36.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 52. It's a 10-yard penalty that's enforced from where the foul happened. Carolina keeps the ball, first down.
Here we go. Oh, what a grab! Touchdown, Cowboys! We want to have fun today.
Well, coming up next, Indianapolis at Dallas this late in the year. What a great matchup. Andrew Luck against Tony Romo. Dallas obviously sitting a lot better after the Eagles lost yesterday. Indianapolis, they clinched the AFC South, currently the number 3 seed. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, because of that Eagles loss, can clinch the NFC East with a win or a tie. Again, that's coming up 4:25 Eastern time on CBS.
You talk about a Christmas gift for the Cowboys last night.
Here's Newton to throw on first down. He gets it off the fingertips of Benjamin. Well, Johnny Manziel hurt on the last possession by the Browns. We're being told it's a hamstring injury, and his return is questionable. He went into the locker room a few moments ago after being evaluated on the sidelines. Mike Pettin is a veteran coach. This is his first year as a head coach. He's coached in New York. He's coached in Buffalo. He's coached in Baltimore. So he's dealt with a few things during his career. On second down, off the play fake, here's Benjamin. Makes a man miss. And then is taken down from behind. Barkevious Mingo, such an athletic outside linebacker, makes the tackle.
He is, and really the last few games he has started to play very well in the run game, doing a nice job setting the edge, getting pressure, rushing the passer. He is a unique athlete out there playing outside linebacker.
Well, he was taking his time getting up, and there was a little pushing going on, so a flag was thrown. Ed Hochuli's crew has been kind of busy here this afternoon with these flags. Looked like he was tangled up with Philly Brown.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the offense, number 16. That foul happened after the play was over, so the down counts. It's third down. The foul was enforced 15 yards. Third down.
I thought for a moment it might have been a delay of game on Mingo before looking at that replay right there.
Yeah, it was Philly Brown coming over and trying to get some extracurricular activity. That's well, you talk about a boneheaded play right there. You're trying to score in a 2-minute situation. You can't afford now to be put in a 3rd and 21 situation. I can't imagine the Panthers being aggressive right here. This has to be some sort of a draw or a screen.
Fozzie Whitaker checks in the backfield. 3 receivers off to the right. They haven't got Olsen in the mix yet. And here's the handoff to Whitaker, just as Adam mentions. And he is taken down shy of the 20. Carlos Dansby in on the tackle.
And because of that, now the clock stopped, and now Cleveland, they have a chance. Brian Hoyer is probably going to get some pretty decent field position to try and get in field goal range.
Please reset the clock to 45 seconds.
Well, they'll reset the clock to 45 seconds. Well, with 3 seconds left to play in New Orleans, the Falcons have scored. It's a 5-point lead. Again, Ron Rivera's hoping his team wins today. Atlanta wins against New Orleans, and it's a winner-take-all next week. It's the Falcons and the
baffling.
Panthers.
It's baffling to me, Tom, how bad the Saints are on offense. They have 7 points. That was on a kickoff return, their first return of the game, and they can't score points on that Atlanta defense.
Well, this whole division has been rather confusing all year long. Benjamin back deep to receive, and he's caught for the fair catch, and he's knocked down immediately by DeAndre Presley. Now, there is a flag down on the field. And to add insult to injury, it may be a holding penalty against the Browns. It was a 54-yard punt.
During the kick, holding by the receiving team, number 24. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's enforced from where the kick was caught. Cleveland keeps the ball, first down.
Well, Botomosi is called for the holding penalty.
Well, how's that for flipping the field position for the Carolina Panthers? Excellent job by Presley, timing it up and making contact right at the catch.
Is that what special teams play is all about? I mean, you played this game for 7 years in the NFL. Is that what special teams play is all about?
That's exactly. When you have your chance to make a play in open space against a very talented return man, it's pretty good.
Well, now Brian Hoyer will go to work. He does not have any timeouts left. 36 seconds to play here in the first half. In for the injured Johnny Manziel. And a lateral to Hawkins, and Hawkins gets across the 20 to the 21. Dwan Edwards makes the tackle. Well, maybe that would be the final play of the half, but Brian Hoyer's thinking, I'm going to get another one off here. On second down from the 21. Inside handoff goes to Crowell, and not much there. He stopped at the 23. Edwards again in on the tackle. And that will be the end of the first half. So the Panthers on top 10-3 over the Browns. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We get set for the second half where the Carolina Panthers on top of the Browns 10-3. Let's take a look at the Bows game changer. This is why they've got the 10 points. Cam Newton, such a threat. Watch this block by Olsen to your left and then off to the right. Newton slides in, and he's able to get into the end zone to give the Panthers a 10-3 lead and made a young man very happy in the stands. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. All right, Cam Newton looks like he's been pretty frisky in the first half.
Yeah, they've got him involved in a couple runs. He's scrambled on some third downs. Passing-wise, he's been crisp. He's had a nice connection with Kelvin Benjamin. I think when you look at the Cleveland Browns now, it's a little bit of a scramble. Kyle Shanahan, what is he going to do here at halftime adjustments? Brian Hoyer should have a calming influence over this offense, but the question is, these are offensive plays that are designed for Johnny Manziel and his style, so how they come out, the running game has to be a big part of their plan.
All right, speaking of Johnny Manziel, the reason we're talking about Brian Hoyer is because Johnny Manziel was injured in the first half. Boy, was he nailed right into the hamstring. He got up and then sat right back down onto the ground before he was helped into the locker room. And this is him live as we get set for the second half. And our report is that his return is questionable. That's why Brian Hoyer is warming up on the sidelines. Let's take a look at the halftime statistics for this ball game. The plays, such a difference. 42 plays to 20 for the Browns. Now, they're on pace to pass last week, but not by much. They only had 38 last week.
No, they just haven't been able to get any consistency, any rhythm in this game, just like it was last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. And so you would hope that hopefully they can get into some sort of a drop-back passing game and Hoyer can move the chains a bit.
Well, here's Drawn taking it out of the end zone, and he's out of bounds on the far side of the field. So Brian Hoyer and the Cleveland Browns will go back to work down 10-3. Now, with everything we say statistically and about the injury to Johnny Manziel, The Browns are only down by 7 points as we begin the second half.
And that's the big difference from last week. Last week was probably their worst defensive performance of the season, where the Cincinnati Bengals completely gashed them on the ground. And because of their defense, primarily playing tough in the red zone and limiting Carolina's ability to score touchdowns, is a reason why Brian Hoyer has a chance here in the second half.
Brian Hoyer was 1 for 2 in very limited action in the first half. He'll throw on first down here, and Cameron, the intended receiver. Well, I thought there might have been contact there as that pass went over his head. Roman Harper was in on the coverage.
And I mentioned earlier in the first half, I think Cameron has to be a guy that gets involved in the offense. He was quiet last week. He missed 5 games with a concussion, but I think somebody inside the hash marks to give Hoyer a presence in the middle, hopefully take some pressure outside so he can get the ball to Gordon when they try and collapse in the middle.
Just 1 catch in the first half for Cameron. Hawkins in motion on second down. The handoff to Crowell, and Crowell has some daylight. He's angling toward midfield and inside Panthers territory before he's tracked down by Glanton. And that's the kind of run the Browns are looking for from Crowell.
Well, how about Mitchell Schwartz right here, where Crowell takes it right off his backside. Excellent block. You even get a nice little block by Taylor Gabriel, the small wide receiver. And that's what they want to see, Crowell hitting the ball downhill.
Gain of 26. This time, though, he stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Little hurry-up offense for the Cleveland Browns as Kawan Short makes the tackle. Crowell will check out. Drawn will check back in. We have not seen Terrence West at all here this afternoon for the Cleveland Browns.
They feel like this is a young rookie backfield, and they really feel like Isaiah Crowell is the one guy that has all the tools to be their featured back. The big key they want to see is, can he take it over and be that back?
Kyle Shanahan told us yesterday that he's hoping that somebody does take control. Hoyer's in trouble, and it's taken down at the 45. Charles Johnson with his first sack of the day.
Well, he's been on fire, doing a tremendous job as of late getting to the passer. Here he is on the edge working against Mitchell Schwartz. And this is a situation, Brian Hoyer trying to look downfield. He's holding the ball, and because he didn't get rid of the ball, that allows Johnson to turn the corner and get the sack. Brian Hoyer has to be able to check that ball down and get it out of his hands.
Well, now Hoyer and the Browns facing a 3rd and 13 from the 45. Cameron in the backfield withdrawn. On 3rd down, Hoyer looking to throw, lofts it to the far side of the field, and it's incomplete. Through the hands of Taylor Gabriel. And the Browns will be forced to punt the ball away.
Well, a nice job. Colin Jones, the nickelback, in the slot. Gabriel beats him off the line by Hoyer, but that was such a small window. You have to wonder, is the size of Gabriel the reason why they weren't able to connect?
They're also fortunate that Ben Wickery didn't intercept that ball because it was left sort of toward no man's land. Burson back deep to receive as Lanning is on the punt. Well, it was a quick first drive for the Browns, just over 2 minutes in length, and the Panthers will begin the second half up by 7 with the ball at their 20 when we come back. Well, Cam Newton will get his first look at this Browns defense to begin the second half, on top 10-3. He begins from his 20, I formation with Stewart as the deep end. They're trying to set up a screen, and it's read perfectly by the Cleveland Browns. Well, you can't read it any better than that. Well, Cam Newton was rusty passing the ball in the first half, but Adam, he was moving around okay early on.
They took some selected quarterback runs, and he did a good job scrambling when things started to break down, but you can see that it's not a big part of their game plan today, especially the fact that Jonathan Stewart has been able to be so effective with 66 rushing yards of his own, but I think just the threat of Cam Newton running the ball is having an effect on this defense.
Yeah, that last pass play snuffed out by Dansby, a loss of 2. You see where his passing totals are. This one to the middle for Cotry, and Cotry's got a first down hit by Dante Whitner. You like when somebody wears your number 31 and hits like that, right?
I think Dante Whitner is one of the toughest safeties that plays the game, plays the pass excellent. But Jericho Cotry, a guy that had a great connection with Derek Anderson, caught all 9 passes from Anderson makes a tough grab over the middle.
So a gain of 13, a first down for the Panthers. Again, Newton will throw. Pocket's collapsing. He gets away. And he rolls the pocket and throws it away. Well, Scott Solomon, who was just activated today, pushed him out of the pocket. Thought your fantasy season was over? It's not. Play for free and you could win a trip to Super Bowl 50. Join today at NFL.com/playoff challenge. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. It's 10-3 Panthers just underway. Second half, first possession for the Panthers after a quick one for the Browns. Panthers are hoping to be alive for a winner-take-all game next week against the Falcons.
There he is, checking at the line of scrimmage one more time. Look for him to target Benjamin.
Handoff goes to Tolbert. And Tolbert gets up to the 31-yard line, so back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be third down. Scott Solomon in on the tackle. Solomon, as we mentioned, just activated prior to today with Joe Hayden being inactive. Solomon, an outstanding collegiate player at Rice with 24 sacks during his college years. It'll be third down. And Cam Newton's letting the play clock wind down before he calls a timeout.
North Carolina, that's their first.
So first time out of the second half, Cam Newton facing a third down with the lead when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Bose, official sound of the NFL. And by Honda, where you can get great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Folks get a chance to not only see Santa and Mrs. Claus do a little ice skating in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. Here's Cam Newton on third down, dancing around, and he'll try to run for the first down. He dives forward, and he has it. Well, so much for the sore back, the sore ribs, everything else that's been going on this year for him.
Well, you're going to see they're running a little race combination right here with Cottrey and Benjamin. And the Cleveland Browns dropping in coverage again. Linebackers extremely deep. Cam Newton takes advantage of it and gets a first down.
So first down for the 42. Pass is... Did Olsen hang on? They're going to say that he did not hang on. Greg Olsen has been quiet today. That's a credit to the coverage of the Cleveland Browns. Dante Whitner was in on the coverage. We haven't really talked that much about Greg Olsen, but what a year he's had. He hasn't made a reception here today, but look at that, 960 yards, tops on the team. Off the play fake, Newton, his pass is incomplete. Is there a flag? Here it comes. Buster Screen was in on the coverage of Philly Brown.
He hooked him with his right arm. Cam Newton waiting until his receiver crossed into the second window.
Pass interference defense, number 22. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
This is very clear as Screen comes right in there. You see the left hand. He does a good job there, but it was the right hand that had the hook on Philly Brown. Easy call.
Buster Screen, who is a normal starter for the Browns, had to slide over and deal with A.J. Green last week when Joe Hayden went out with a shoulder injury. Now Hayden is out again today. But Screen, who is so quick, fast as lightning, called for the penalty, and they'll spot the ball just inside midfield. So they say the spot of the foul is the 49. That's why they moved it back there. First down. The handoff goes to Stewart. Stewart moves the pile down to the 46. Paul Kruger in on the tackle for the Browns.
You know, Cleveland, you go back to last week's game against the Bengals, and that, especially that first drive, they played pretty good defense, but it was their inability to get off the field by untimely penalties, and you've kind of seen that happen again today against the Carolina Panthers.
Here's Newton to throw, looking to the near side for Benjamin, and he can't come up with it. Desir was in on the coverage. Well, they say he has ridiculously big hands where they can just throw it up for grabs, but this one was thrown a little too much.
I thought it was excellent coverage by Desir. He gave Benjamin no room whatsoever on that sideline to work with, and Cam Newton basically had to throw the ball out of bounds.
Desir's been a great story. We said the rookie from Lindenwood. He was the Cliff Harris Award winner during his final year of college for the top small college defensive player. Cliff Harris was such a brilliant player for the Dallas Cowboys for so long. And now a third down for Cam Newton and the Panthers. They may have to use another timeout. They do. That's their second timeout on this drive.
That's their second.
Oh, that's not good. Although they have the lead, they're facing a third down with one timeout left for the rest of the half. Well, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, along with Adam Archuleta. I'm Tom McCarthy. You see the score. Carolina on top 10-3. They need to win this week and next week and have the New Orleans Saints lose at least one of their final two games in order to qualify for the postseason. Cam Newton facing a third down and 8 from the 47. First possession of the second half for him. And his pass to the near side caught by Benjamin. You want to
beam all the way to the sideline. Double outs. Greg Olsen goes short. Benjamin goes little separation. Newton puts it right in there before he runs out of bounds.
From the 39, 19 first downs now for the Panthers. Pressure, and Newton's able to dance away. A pass is incomplete. Will there be a flag? Nope. Looks like it's just good coverage by Desir on Benjamin.
How about this? This is what Cam Newton brings. Look at that rope to Benjamin, that small window. And how about Benjamin to be able to get both feet in bounds as he's running full speed?
Yeah, that's the play that resulted in the first down. Newton just missed him on the next first down. And now you're facing second down and 10 from the 39. Handoff goes to Stewart. Jim Leonard flushes him inside, and that gives the rest of the Browns defense a chance to wrap them up. Kitchen and Robertson in on the tackle. Greg Robertson is such a special player on special teams. With Dansby being out, he didn't have as much of an impact on special teams because he was playing so much. Now that Dansby is which is a big help for the Browns. Panthers need to get to the 29 for a first down. Newton's under pressure. Man, he could dance around with the best of them. He's trying to avoid Dansby, and he wobbles one, and it's intercepted, is it? Billy Wynn with a diving catch. The whistle was not blown. And that's why Poyer went all the way to the end zone. Now the officials are going to confer, and Wynn, I believe, is going to be credited with an interception.
Yeah, from up here, it looked like Billy Wynn.
Was ruled down after the interception by Cleveland. He was ruled down, gave himself up on the ground. Cleveland's ball, first down.
That is the 21st interception of the year for the Browns defense. Well, who says defensive linemen can't make a grab? Billy Wynn proving everybody wrong with that interception.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. And by Amazon's new Fire HD. Powerful tablet. Endless entertainment.
The ruling on the field stands as called. Cleveland's ball, first down.
Well, we had a nice talk yesterday with Dante Whitner, and he talked about interceptions, how important they are. But he did not include Billy Wynn in the category of interceptions for the Cleveland Browns.
No, you usually talk about the Cleveland Browns secondary, that opportunistic secondary that they have. But tremendous job by Carlos Dansby to force the errant pass and for Wynn to come down with it.
Well, here's Crowell on first down. So every turnover is reviewable. Look at Dansby, hits the arm, and now watch Wynn dive forward. And they just wanted to make sure that he did have it. He did have it. That's a very athletic play right there.
Yeah, it is. It was a terrible decision. That was a Manziel-esque decision by Cam Newton to throw that ball, but Carlos Dansby affecting the pass. Wynn coming up with the interception, gave himself up. Heads up by Jordan Poyer to try and get a touchdown.
Ed Hockley said before the timeout, before we reviewed it, that he had given himself up, and that's why they blew the play dead. There's a pass completion to Gordon, so now they're moving the ball inside Panthers territory, a gain of 17.
A sharp pass by Brian Hoyer. Play action brings up the Panthers linebackers. That opens up the window, and a perfect strike to Gordon on the slant.
From the 37, it's first down. Hoyer off the play fake, rolling, dumping it off, and he has his tight end, Jim Dre. And Dre shy of a first down. Roman Harper makes the catch. Our officiating expert, Mike Carey. Mike, we heard Ed Hockley say that Billy Witt had given himself up by going down on the ground, and that's why this was not a touchdown by Poyer. We're looking at it right here, and Poyer grabs it out of Wynn's hands. So you learn something every day, Mike, that is the defensive lineman giving himself up on that interception.
Yes, once he goes down and he has no attempt to advance the ball, he's ruled down at that point. And once you rule somebody down, you can't pick him back up again in replay. So the rule on the field was correct.
I guess he did look kind of comfortable just laying down there on the ground. And,
yes, he did.
But there was no whistle. But you see the reception. He rolls on his back, sits there for a while. And that's where Poyer picks it up.
And he actually took it from a down player, which is also makes it down by contact, too.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. 1 for 7 on third down opportunities. It's 3rd and 6 for the Browns. Poyer off the play fake. Has time. He can't run the way Manziel does, but he's got a first down, and he slides toward the 20-yard line.
Well, good job by the Carolina Panthers taking away what Hoyer wanted. This is a zone pressure, and you're going to see the defensive end, Mario Addison, drop out and get in the way of the slant to Gordon. That was the first option. And Brian Hoyer doing his best to escape, get upfield for the first down.
Well, it's a gain of 11. They'll mark the ball at the 21 of Carolina. Benjamin in motion. Tight end on each side of the offensive line. The handoff to Crowell, and Crowell is down at the 26. Let's go for an update in New York with JB.
Atlanta with a postseason pulse.
And that pulse is getting stronger and stronger thanks to Devontae Freeman, who's
And Adam.
Just an incredible storyline this year in this division. If Carolina wins today and Atlanta wins today, it'll be winner take all for a berth in the postseason next week.
They got a battle on their hands right here, though.
On second down, Hoyer with the play fake dumps it off. He finds Cameron as tight end, and he gets to the 20-yard line.
Well, they're going to drop a defensive end right here in the slant window. This is on that third down scramble by Poyer. The first option is taken away. There's no second option. And Hoyer in traffic picks up the first down.
And now he's facing a third down from the 21. This drive a little more than 4 minutes off the interception by Billy Wynn. 43 total yards for Hoyer in limited time. Play clock is down to 5. With the play clock at 2, Hoyer looking to throw. Not much there. Breaks away again. Can he get to another first down? He's trying, and he dives forward past Kuechly, and he's going to be shy of the first down marker. We'll see where they spot it. It looks like they're going to spot it at the 13.
Well, it was a nice attempt again. Carolina, their secondary, their back 7 doing a tremendous job in coverage and taking away Hoyer's option. But now here for the second time on this drive, tries to make something happen with his scrambling ability. Comes up a little bit short.
Well, this will be a 31-yard field goal attempt by Hartley. He's made one today, his first attempt as a Brown. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is good. It's a 4-point game off the turnover. The Browns get 3 with 3:14 to play here in the third. Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. It's a 10-6 ball game. Newton's interception by Billy Wynn of the Browns leads to a field goal for Cleveland. Here's Fozzie Whitaker. He'll return this one and begin from the 3. Try to find some blockers. Flags are in. And he's stopped right at the 20. Panthers will have the ball, and it depends on this flag to see where they will start. They lead it by 4.
Personal foul, illegal wedge on the return by the receiving team. It's half the distance to the goal, enforced from the spot of the foul. First down.
All right, Adam, here is the wedge that is deemed illegal.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be able to lock arms in the wedge and have more than 2 players.
So Ron Rivera's team will be pushed back close to the 5 to begin this drive, on top by 4. Ron Rivera looking for an explanation. So there you go. That's the length that the Panthers need to go to get into the end zone. Every coach wants an explanation. He probably couldn't see it as clearly as we did with the replay, but they locked arms, or at least cusped hands. A little bit of a challenge now for Cam Newton and the Panthers, up by just 4 with 3:07 to play here in the third quarter. Handoff on first down to Stewart, and Leonard wraps him up as he gets across the 10 to the 11. Another update in New York with JB.
Baltimore finally.
Yes, Joe Flacco's going to find Torrey Smith for the 8-yard pass, getting it done unconventionally. 4 for 21 for 35 yards, but they're in the game. Houston up 16-7.
Lot on the line. Back to Tom and Adam.
I know JB and Bart probably feel the same way that we do. Nobody expected that Joe Flacco would struggle that much. But again, all they need to do is win at this point in the year. They have 9 wins. Obviously, the Bengals play the Broncos on Monday Night Football. So much still up for grabs in each division, in each conference in the National Football League. The Panthers now have a little breathing room, but they're facing a first down from the 16 after starting this drive just inside the 6.
It was big to get 2 positive runs to now give Cam Newton some room to operate with.
Jonathan Stewart, 17 carries, 81 yards. Cam Newton, 8 carries, 46 yards. Handoff goes to Stewart, and Stewart moves the pile close to the 20-yard line. A gain of 4. Just as quickly things can change around the National Football League. Back to JB.
Like Pittsburgh opening up a bit.
Absolutely. Ben Roethlisberger is going to find Antonio Brown for the 3-yard score. Pittsburgh goes up 17-6.
34 seconds left in the third. Back to Tom and Adam.
All right, JB. Boy, the Steelers, I think, are such a threat. If they can get into the postseason, they clinch a playoff berth with the victory. Here's Stewart, nothing there on second down. Stopped after maybe a yard. Dansby and Kruger in on the tackle for the Browns.
Well, we've already seen Carlos Dansby's presence felt today in a number of situations. You saw the batted you saw him hit the arm of Cam Newton on that interception, and that time just fires his gun, gets into the backfield, makes a play behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, back this week after a knee injury kept him out. Came in this year replacing DeQuell Jackson, who was such a great leader for the Browns. They're down from the 21, trying to get across the 26 for a first down. With a play clock at 2, the handoff to Stewart. He is nailed by Solomon behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of almost 3 on the play. Scott Solomon is making every effort here this afternoon.
Just an excellent job of get off. This play is going to the right. They pull the backside guard. There is nobody to account for Solomon to come in from behind, and just an excellent job of sticking Stewart in the backfield and forcing the Carolina Panthers to punt.
Clock winds down. They do get the punt off before the end of the quarter. Benjamin back deep to receive. Will field it at the 22. Trying to find a blocker. He must have a few because he's got some freedom out of bounds at the 45. So that run back will end the third quarter. It's 10-6 Carolina. Will return to Charlotte after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
That's the end of the third.
Tomorrow at CBS, 'tis the season for a holiday episode of NCIS Los Angeles. Join in the fun tomorrow at 10/9 Central. Only CBS. 10-6 Carolina's on top. We get set to begin the fourth quarter. The Cleveland Browns started the day with Johnny Manziel as their quarterback. He left with a hamstring injury. His return is still questionable. Brian Hoyer, 4 of 7 so far, 36 yards in the air and 19 yards on the ground. His pass is complete to the outside for Andrew Hawkins. No, they're going to say incomplete. He had it and then dropped it as he went out of bounds. Ben Wickery knocked it loose.
Benet Ben Wickery out of San Jose State University. Wow, look at that transition out of his break. And question is, did he control that?
It looked like he may have.
The fact that he landed on Ben Wickery meant he wasn't down, and therefore the ball came out.
So second down and 10. In motion is Dre to the far side, the tight ends. Hoyer steps up looking long near side, and Benjamin can't run under it. Ben Wickery again in on the coverage. Well, Johnny Manziel injured in the first half. Here's the play. Injured hamstring.
I think it's really unfortunate because Johnny Manziel, you kind of look at it, he hasn't had a great chance for success. Last week, the entire team played about as poor as they could possibly play. He doesn't have the chance to take a lot of first-team reps this season, and it would have been great for his confidence and his experience here to get the last 3 games under his belt.
He admitted yesterday that there were times where his starting receivers were kind of strangers to him last week because he didn't throw a whole lot to them. On third down, Hoyer under pressure, and he's taken down. Coney Ely was the first one there from behind, the rookie from Missouri.
This is just a great pass rush from Carolina. You got linebacker Zip mugging the line of scrimmage, and Ely is just going to come off of the edge. I mean, guess who that's against? That's against Joe Thomas, the perennial Pro Bowler. Excellent pass rush by the rookie Coney Ely.
That is his 3rd sack of the year. Now the Browns now to punt the ball away. Burson back deep to receive. He'll start from the far side. And not much there as he gets up to the 21-yard line before Marlon Moore makes the tackle. Cam Newton leads it by 4. 1 minute into the fourth quarter. We'll see what he has in store for the Browns when we come back. We don't want to underscore the fact that the fans here at Bank of America Stadium are peeking at the scoreboard. And they know Atlanta's on top of New Orleans 20-7 as they begin the fourth quarter. Down in New Orleans here, 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Carolina up by 4. Again, Carolina clinches the NFC South with 2 wins and 1 New Orleans loss. They have the lead. Cam Newton on first down, and his pass to Philly Brown is complete out to the 33. Desir in on the coverage.
How about Philly Brown and the impact that he's been able to have? I was talking to their wide receiver coach, Ricky Prohl, before the game today, and he said, you know what? I can't believe this kid didn't get drafted. We really felt like we got a steal by getting him as an undrafted free agent. He started to come through in a big way here of late.
The rookie out of Ohio State used to be a quarterback. Here's Newton to throw. He's being flushed out. He lost the ball. And the Panthers fall on top of it. Solomon knocked it loose. What a day Scott Solomon is having.
Boy, you are not kidding. Scott Solomon again making his presence felt. Working against Byron Bell, the left tackle.
And fortunately, Bell was able to fall on it.
Oh, that's what you call taking advantage of your opportunity when you get a chance. He's been all over the field.
And there's Byron Bell who falls on top of it. It'll be second down and 16 from the 27. Solomon, the third-year pro out of Rice, just activated before today's ball game. Stewart in motion out of the backfield, and the handoff goes to Philly Brown, and he fumbles the ball. This time the Browns will pick it up. They'll have it at the 25-yard line. Justin Gilbert came in and swept it off the turf. Another turnover forced by the Cleveland Browns.
Well, that's just great team defense by the Cleveland Browns. Watch Paul Kruger right here on Greg Olsen getting off the block. Dante Whitner comes in there and knifes in, and I believe he may have been the one to get that ball out, but the Cleveland Browns swarming here in the last two drives.
The field that the ball was fumbled.
Ed Hockley, with every turnover, it is reviewable, so he is going to take a look under the hood. Our replay official is Tom Sifferman. Tom's upstairs with us, and he will confer with the folks from New York. Philly Brown, a possible fumble. The Browns will have it when we return. Well, back here in Carolina, we had a possible fumble by Philly Brown that is now under review, and we've had a chance to take a look at it, but we'll let Ed Hockley explain. He's out from under the hood. It looked like Philly Brown may have been down before the ball came loose. All turnovers are reviewable. This was not a challenge. So here's Ed Hockley.
The Carolina's forearm was down on the ground before the ball came loose. Therefore, he's down by contact. It's third down on the 27-yard line. There are no timeouts charged.
Well, take a look at it again.
It was a big break by Philly Brown to get this call reversed. You see Whitner come in there. I think Sione Fua, number 70, is actually the one that came down that popped that ball loose. But as you can see, Philly Brown's forearm was down before the ball was coming loose. Right there.
So the Panthers will get it back. Mike Carey's our officiating expert. It'll be third down for the Panthers. The ball sits at the 27-yard line with 12:22 to play here in the fourth quarter. And Carolina's on top by 4. Benjamin in motion. Newton looking to throw. Here's Benjamin wide open in the middle. And Benjamin is going to be shy of the first down. He'll be stopped at the 38. Well, Mike, again, another example how replay helps the cause, because going into that break, I thought it was a fumble off the bats.
Yes, and it was difficult to tell. You saw the right forearm down, and you could see the point of the ball still locked underneath the forearm and bicep of the runner, but you don't see the tip of the ball. It's a little bit of a leap to call it down by contact, but I'm comfortable with that.
All right, well, we appreciate it. The Panthers are certainly comfortable with it as well, because now they punt to the Cleveland Browns on fourth down. Benjamin is back deep to receive, and he'll call for the fair catch at the 15. It's only a 4-point lead for the Carolina Panthers. They give Brian Hoyer the ball back with 11:22 to play in the fourth. Well, to say that this ball game has been tense for the Carolina fans is an understatement. They're on top by 4, but Brian Hoyer will get it back. Here's Crowell on first down, who stumbles up to the 20, a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. How about the Browns offense, Adam? No touchdowns in the last 140 minutes and 2 seconds and counting.
That's a long time. But the good news is this. You got to always look for the silver lining. Today, especially here in the second half, the defense has been able to come to play. And a big reason why Brian Hoyer only needs one drive to regain the lead.
Kyle Shanahan talked to us yesterday, and he understands the plight of this offense right now, as you would expect. He wants Crowell to sort of take a hold of the running back position. He stumbles there for no gain. It'll be third down and 5.
They feel like he has the most complete skill set, that he has what it takes to be that featured back. And the big thing they wanted to see is how could he perform in the fourth quarter? Could he take over that game, in fact? The big challenge for Brian Hoyer right now is he's working with a very simplistic game plan that the Carolina defense is able to take away what they're trying to do. So he's got to do extra to create those passing opportunities.
Even a little bit more on third down and 5. Pressure's coming, throws to the middle. Has Cameron wide open. He may go the whole way. Jordan Cameron is going to get it to the end zone, and the Browns take the lead. An 81-yard pass play, and somehow Jordan Cameron was wide open.
Wow.
Well, he said he had to have some additional responsibility, and he really took a hold of that responsibility right there. How about Cameron showing the legs to outrun the secondary, too? Hartley is on for the point after. Snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is good. It's 13-10 thanks to Cameron's second touchdown reception of the year. This one was a long catch and run for the tight ends. Gotten kind of quiet here at Bank of America Stadium because the Cleveland Browns have taken the lead. 9:59 to play here in the fourth quarter. Lanning's kickoff will be returned from Whitaker at the 2. And Fozzie Whitaker, after bumping in front of his own teammate, gets out across the 30 to the 34. Boy, you want to talk about a big play. This was a huge offensive play for the Browns.
And it comes down to eye discipline by the safety, Roman Harper. You're going to see a blitz pressure, and at the very last second, Luke Kuechly is going to drop out and provide the underneath coverage. But watch as this play develops. Roman Harper, his eyes are right there, just as Jordan Cameron is coming right here. And before he knows it, it's too late. Cameron runs by him. Hoyer puts it right there on the mark by the hash mark. And then Cameron's speed does the rest.
He's looking up at the video board. He's peeking to see who's behind him and whether he can get in, and he certainly did. It's been a tough year for Cameron. And for the Cleveland offense, their first touchdown in its last 10 quarters. All right, so now Carolina down by 3 with the ball, with 9:52 to play here in the fourth quarter.
They've been stagnant offensively here in the second half.
Off the play fake, Newton's pass is complete to Olsen, his first catch of the day. He's going to make it count. He's inside Cleveland territory. Gain of 21.
That's a great job on the first down of their drive, using Olsen out of the backside, out of the backfield, causing confusion with the inside linebackers, and a big pickup for the tight end.
On first down from the 45, Newton's going to run, and he'll keep it inside the 40, and out of bounds past Whitner to the 39. Dante Whitner had a lot of nice things to say about Cam Newton, in particular his ability to do just that and why you have to be on your toes.
And he also has the ability to throw the ball deep and take advantage of you when you get in a bad situation. But I still think, I'm surprised that's the first time we've seen Greg Olsen here today. I still think he has to be a factor for Carolina to come back.
On second down, the handoff to Stewart, and he stood up. Dansby was there with his 12th tackle of the day. It'll be third down at about 1.
Now, he's such a good player. The only active player to have 40 sacks and 10 interceptions in the National Football League, and you don't think his presence means something right there in the center of this defense. He has just been tremendous.
Mike Pettin was saying that he was trying to go last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, and he just couldn't do it. This week, though, much different. So third down and 1 with the Panthers down by 3. High formation. Off the play fakes. Newton's going to keep it himself. He's got some daylight. A block from Olsen, and he's inside the 25. Such a tremendous weapon.
Well, again, the same thing they did on the goal line. They're going to fake the run here to the right. Cam Newton is going to come out to the left, and the key block, again, is Greg Olsen on Dante Whitner. Without that lead block, Whitner could be in a position to make that play, but you love how Olsen stays with it and gets that block for his quarterback.
Not lost on Ron Rivera how good Olsen's becoming as a blocking tight end. Over 200 yards of total offense for Newton on first down. He lofts it to the far side. Pass is complete inside the 10. Burson with a reception. No, now they're going to say he dropped it out of bounds. So an incomplete pass. A late call by the official.
Well, you have problems when you start getting tight. They're not quite to the red area inside the 20. But this is a big reason why. You've got to be able to make that catch. You took advantage of the corner. Pierre Desir, who played too short. You hit a strike. Got to be able to come down with that ball.
Fans are watching it on the replay. It looks like his hand is under the ball. It's ruled an incompletion on the field. Here's Ed Hockley chatting with Ron Rivera.
Challenging the ruling in the field. The pass was incomplete.
You know, Tom, the more I look at that, I think he might have been able to control that ball even though the ball hit the ground. When the ball hit the ground, there was zero movement. So the question is, did his body come down in bounds when he had possession?
Well, a challenge earlier in the game by Carolina was successful. Watch his left hand on this one, or right hand, Adam, on this one as he goes down to the ground. Does it look like the right hand is still under the ball as he hits the ground?
It looked like to me that he was able to control that ball even though it hit the ground. You saw very little ball movement when the ball came in contact with the turf.
Mike Carey is our officiating expert. Mike, we're really putting you to work here today. What do you think about this one? How's this one going to unfold?
Yeah, this one's coming back. If I'm in the booth, I reverse this to a catch. Clear control in the air. He goes down to the ground, gets his forearm down in bounds. The ball still secure in his hands. It doesn't come loose. That's a catch down by or out of bounds. So great play here in the field, and it'll be reversed in replay.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Mike. I think, Adam, I don't want to speak for you. I think you're leaning that way too. Great camera shots, and being able to look at that so closely is such a help. See right there, that's what Mike is talking about, what Adam was talking about as well.
Yeah, so many angles shows us that he has clear control. His body comes down in bounds, maintains control, and it's just a beautiful play. Well, Mike, down by contact.
Mike, at this pace, we'll probably talk to you in another 3 minutes or so. Ed Hockley is coming out onto the field. We'll see what the decision is. The fans are already excited because they've moved the football. We don't want to kill the suspense, but here is Ed Hockley with a decision.
The receiver caught the ball in the air, came down with possession. The pass was complete on the 9-yard line. That's first down. Carolina has now won 2 challenges. They therefore have a 3rd challenge available if they still have timeouts left at the time.
Well, Mike, I think just what you said, it was the right call by the officials.
Yep, and so this is a nice one to get right in replay. Huge play here.
Well, it's a giant play because now it's 1st and goal. Mike, we appreciate it as always. Been very busy here this afternoon here in Carolina. They'll mark it at the 9. Well, let's see, red zone has been an issue for the Panthers this year, even today. It's 1st and goal from inside the 10.
Anytime you see no backs in the backfield, Cam Newton is by himself. Look for quarterback draw.
He looks, he throws it toward the end zone, and Benjamin can't hang on. Desir was there battling with him. I think that shows you the confidence that Cam Newton has in the rookie receiver.
Well, this is a great job. This is a size mismatch between Benjamin and Desir, and you watch Desir at that last moment put his right hand in there and break up that pass.
2nd and goal from inside the 10. Panthers down by 3. An audible called out now by Cam Newton. Plenty of time on the play clock.
And he likes going to Benjamin, but his most reliable target today has been Cotry. He's in the slot.
Slot to the right. Newton thinking about scrambling, trying to avoid, throws on the right. Pass is complete to Stewart, and the Panthers retake the lead. The season of giving, and that lucky fan not only got a touchdown, but a football from Jonathan Stewart, his first touchdown reception of the year.
Well, Tom, he wanted to hit Jericho Cotry in the slot going across. That was taken away, but he's able to keep it alive. Stewart leaks out of the backfield, and Newton is able to find him.
Here's Graham Gano for the point after. His kick is good. So the Panthers lead is at 4 with 7:07 to play here in the fourth quarter. We talked during the outset about red zone conversions, how important they are. They've had a little trouble here today, but they've converted 2 times now, and this was a big one.
And they needed this one in a big one. Cottrey is in the slot. You're going to watch Cam Newton as this play develops. He's looking this way, but then it's going to be Jonathan Stewart who leaks out at the very last moment, and Cam Newton is able to find him. Good job by the Cleveland defense, taking away his first read, but nobody accounts for Jonathan Stewart.
Receivers have always said you have to be on your toes with Newton because he can tuck it and run, but you also can get yourself open, and he'll pull up like he did there and find the wide open receiver. (17-13). It's a 4-point lead. Remember, the Panthers, if they win 2 and New Orleans loses 1, and they're facing the Falcons today, then the Panthers win the NFC South. Drawn will let that one go into the end zone and then out of the back of the end zone, and the Browns will have it 1st and 10 from the 20. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Scott Pelley reports from Cuba on the historic shift in relations, plus a surprising interview with the godfather of the Tea Party, Senator Tom Coburn. Tonight, only CBS. Atlanta does have a lead over the New Orleans Saints. Look at 4:11 to play in the fourth quarter of that one. Chicago Bears are sitting there thinking, well, how were they scoring so easy against us last week and they only have 14 points today?
A great question.
Brian Hoyer subbing for the injured Johnny Manziel. He went out in the first half with a hamstring injury. He'll throw on 1st down. Throwing long again. Benjamin is there, and it's intercepted! Josh Norman leaps high in the air, and now he'll return it inside Cleveland territory, and he's down inside the 30. The ball is loose again. Do the Browns have it? The Browns got it back. Travis Benjamin, who couldn't come up with a reception, came all the way back and was able to take down Josh Norman, and the ball came loose. Boy, you have to be on your toes sometimes in the National Football League. Is that incredible or what?
Boy, what a play.
After the interception, the intercepting player fumbled the ball. Cleveland recovered it. It will be a 1st down, Cleveland.
Norman had a lot of freedom when he was running with that football at him.
Boy, what a play. First of all, by Norman, the ball skills. That's an incredible catch, but watch how he's holding the football right here. That's old Charles Woodson stuff right there. He doesn't secure it, but how about Benjamin to not give up the play, to hustle, come from behind and strip that ball. That was such a big play by the rookie out of Miami.
So Travis Benjamin.
We will review the ruling on the field.
Using his speed to clean that play up, and Ed Hockley, you just heard him say, we'll review this one. Multiple turnovers on this particular play.
Benjamin came in there and he did it perfectly with his chop. Watch him at the end, number 11 on the right side, how he chops violently with his arm, and I gotta believe that that ball is out.
Yep, I would agree with you on that one.
Boy, what a hustle play by Benjamin to give the ball back to his offense.
And fortunately, Benjamin was able to fall on top of it. Oh yeah,
that ball.
Yeah. That ball is out and his knee is not on the ground.
That's incredible.
Well, if anybody is interested, it's going to turn out to be a gain of 9 effectively on that play.
I got to say, too, Tom, that was one of the sweetest picks that I've seen this season by Josh Norman.
I mean, he went up and extended. Well, they're reviewing the entire play. As we mentioned, all turnovers are reviewable. Right now the ball is spotted on the 29-yard line. Here's another angle just to be sure. Oh yeah. Ball is out, knee is not totally down.
The rulings on the field are confirmed. The interception, he had the ball and never was touched down by contact, and he lost possession of the ball on the fumble before he touched down. It's therefore Cleveland's ball, first down.
I think a great explanation by Ed Hockley, because you forget after the interception, did anybody touch him? And then he comes back, and here we go again. Take a look. He's got it right there.
Boy, what an interception.
That is incredible. Nobody's near him at him at that point. He has control. He gets up cleanly.
You got to tuck that ball away. You got to go back to high school when you were a tailback and tuck it away.
So it's first down for the Browns, and the handoff to Crowell. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Carolina up by 4, 6:35, 34, 33.
You see here in the last 2 drives, the Cleveland offense and Brian Hoyer trying to attack the Carolina Panthers secondary downfield.
Hoyer subbing for the injured Johnny Manziel out in the first half with a hamstring injury. Finds Gordon. And he's got a first down up to the 41. Kuechly and Norman in on the coverage, a gain of 9.
Again, throwing the 3-step slant. Thomas Davis was in the window, but Hoyer threw it perfectly where Davis couldn't get to it.
Brian Hoyer 6 of 12, 126 yards. Crowell running left. He's got a blocker. He got to the edge, and he's got a first down inside Carolina territory before Glanton took him down.
Well, the combination block, Joe Thomas and Cameron Jordan, watch how they seal the right side of that Carolina defense. That's what you call a soft corner, working on Coney Ely, the defensive lineman.
Oh, again, Crowell, this time not much there as Thomas Davis takes him down with one arm. Great chatting with Luke Kuechly about Thomas Davis. He said, that's my boy. When I got here, even though I was playing his position, everything he did was to make me a better player. And having him next to me now is such a huge asset in that linebacking crew.
And having played this game, it's really incredible that with all the issues that he's had with his knee surgeries, that he's able to keep coming back, and not only come back, but still play at a high level. He is a tremendous football player.
Drawn checks in. Crowell is out. It's second down and 14. Hoyer is dropped at the 41. Smothered by Kawan Short.
At first, beating the rookie Joe Bitonio. And then the center up the middle. You're going to see him right here, essentially splitting that double team inside and just plants Brian Hoyer on the ground.
Timeout, Cleveland. That's their first.
Hoyer had no idea
timeout.
Well,
that Short was in his office.
For Kawan Short, his 3rd sack of the year. A timeout called by the Browns with 4:10 to play here in the 4th quarter. Ball is back to the 42. It's going to be 3rd down and 21.
Well, back to back, you know, just when you think Cleveland is starting to get something going, they had a great run. And then Thomas Davis comes back, makes a big play for a tackle for a loss, and then Kawan Short making his presence felt up the middle. There's 99 right there in the middle, and that's one of the things that Kyle Shanahan said, that his offense and his centers were going to have to try and deal with Kawan Short, that penetrating nose tackle that can cause so much disruption inside. He's been quiet for most of the game, but just made a big play when his defense needed it.
3rd down at 21. The Browns need to get to the 37 of Carolina for a first down. Out of the shotgun is Hoyer. Steps up, throws middle, pass is complete, but well short of a first down. Thomas Davis in on the coverage of Gordon. All right, what do you do here if you're the Browns? You going to punt it away?
Yeah, I think you got to believe that, outside of that last drive, your defense has played very well. And so you have a great chance of trying to stop the Carolina Panthers, get the ball back with great field position for your offense. I think the strength of your team today is your defense, and you have to let them go down there and try and get the ball back.
Burson is back deep to receive, landing on the punt the ball away. With 3.5 to play here in the fourth quarter, Burson calls for the fair catch. It bounces over his head and then takes a Carolina hop into the end zone. So now with 3:24 to play here in the fourth quarter, if you're Cam Newton, you might be able to run more of this time off the clock. And even though you're peeking at the scoreboard and keeping an eye on that Falcons-Saints game, Ron Rivera knows you got to control your own destiny. You win today, you win next week. New Orleans maybe loses one of the two, then you're going to get to the postseason. As crazy as that sounds, you'll get to the postseason under 500.
Yeah, I don't think anybody right now here for Carolina is peeking at the scoreboard. I think they understand the challenge that is at hand right here, that they have to win this football game, and they have to be able to run this time off and not give Cleveland the chance to get the ball back and score.
On first down from the 20, Tolbert is in the backfield. He'll take the handoff, running left, not much there. An update from New Orleans with under 2 minutes to play. The Falcons up 23-14 over the New Orleans Saints. If Carolina can hold on here and Atlanta can hold on in New Orleans, it'll be a winner-take-all for the NFC South next week between Carolina and Atlanta. Officially, it's a gain of 1. It's second down and 9, and Cam Newton is milking as much of this clock as possible. Here comes Mingo. He steps up away from him and then slings it to Dixon, who breaks a tackle. Ed Dixon inside the 45 of the Browns, a 34-yard gain.
Well, how about this job and this throw by Cam Newton inside the pocket, being patient with Mingo breathing down his neck, and then Ed Dixon coming through, grabbing that pass and keeping this drive alive. What a huge play by both of those players.
They mark the ball at the 45 along with Adam Archuleta. I'm Tom McCarthy. We're heading toward the 2-minute warning here in Carolina. The Panthers up by 4 with an opportunity to keep their playoff hopes alive. They've got 2 minutes to go. There's the NFC South standings as we speak right now. Atlanta leads New Orleans. If Carolina can win here and Atlanta wins against New Orleans, it'll be a winner-take-all in Atlanta next week for the NFC South title between Carolina and the Falcons. First, though, it's first and 10. The handoff to Stewart. And Stewart, who's had a productive day, gets 3 yards. So the Panthers scenario, we've been talking about it all day long, is this. They clinch the NFC South with 2 wins and a New Orleans loss. Now, you might be able to check one of those off in just a few minutes, because Atlanta is leading New Orleans 23-14 with less than 1 minute to play down in New Orleans. Does that shock you, that score, Adam, or does nothing shock you anymore?
The New Orleans Saints is one of the great mysteries to me in the National Football League this year. Especially the fact that they've been so bad at home, when that was always one of the toughest places in the National Football League to play in. But that's the NFL. Stranger things have happened. Right now, Ron Rivera's football team is looking forward right now to finishing this game.
Second down at 7. Again, the handoff to Stewart, this time running right, and he dives to the 40 before Robertson makes the tackle. Again, Johnny Manziel was such a big part of our open today, was injured in the first half, so this has basically been Brian Hoyer's game since that injury.
And Brian Hoyer has done a pretty good job considering being limited with the type of offense that he's running here today. And again, it's too bad. They wanted to give Johnny Manziel a chance here in the last 3 games to kind of show what he can do and get some experience under his belt. And you have to say he really hasn't had a great opportunity with the limited snaps that he has had here as a starting quarterback.
Well, that's what he did today before the injury. 3 of 8 for 32 yards. Quite honestly, though, Hoyer has been way better at 7 of 13 for 134 yards. including an 81-yard touchdown pass to Jordan Cameron. Cleveland just used a timeout, so they're out of timeouts. Carolina has one. Mike Pettin has said, he said, listen, 7 wins at this point. I don't think anybody expected that, but we want to finish the season as strong as possible. They were eliminated last night with San Diego's incredible win over San Francisco.
That's their third and final timeout. 30 seconds.
All right, so Carolina's charged with a timeout, and Ron Rivera is saying, wait a minute.
An interesting place to call a timeout.
I think they thought the play clock should have been reset. Ed Hochul's had to do a lot of explaining today. A little bit of a smirk from Ron Rivera. He'll be smiling from ear to ear if they can run out the last 147 of this. They need to get a first down, though. It's 3rd down and 5. Cleveland cannot stop the clock anymore. Olsen's in motion. Hand off to Stewart. Trying to find some daylight. Stewart's got the first down and much more. Inside the 20. Dragged down from behind. Dozier. Leonard in on the tackle, but that is a huge first down for the Panthers. Boy, Kitchens, the injured Browns player, down on the field.
Well, you got to watch Greg Olsen, number 88. He gets the key block. I believe that's on Paul Kruger. And then Stewart cuts off of that block. Excellent vision and instincts to try and close out this game. Boy, Greg Olsen, you know, he had that big reception earlier. His effect on this game was minimized in the passing game, but he has had one heck of a day blocking for his quarterback on the quarterback runs, and there just doing a tremendous job on Paul Kruger.
By rule, there's an excess charge, timeout to Cleveland. There's no foul that goes with that, although the play clock will be set to 40, and the clock will wind, and the referee's ready for play.
Well, you mentioned Greg Olsen. He was on the doorstep of 1,000 yards receiving with 960 yards coming in. Well, the fans here are finding out that the game has gone final in New Orleans, where the Falcons have defeated the Saints 30-14. So barring a catastrophe here in Carolina, it will be a winner-take-all next week for the NFC South title. For the second time in NFL history, there will be a team with a less than 500 record getting into the postseason. But I don't think anybody in Carolina, in Atlanta, I don't think anybody cares about that.
Not one bit, Tom. You get a chance, anything. If there's something that we've learned here by being a part of the National Football League, is that when it comes playoff time, anything can happen. And just getting that opportunity would be huge for one of these teams.
1:26 to play. Kitchen is off the field. It'll be 1st and goal from the 10. For Cam Newton and the Panthers, it's all but running this time off. You heard Ed Hochul say that the clock starts, and this will be a victory formation in such a dramatic way. Look at Newton looking up at the play clock. He'll start walking forward with it at 7. And he'll take a knee as we'll wind under 50 seconds to play. Little Sweet Caroline being played here at Bank of America Stadium. At one point, they lost 6 consecutive games. I don't think even Ron Rivera, as grizzled a veteran of the National Football League as there has been, would have thought his team would have an opportunity. But that's exactly what they have. The final 20 seconds will tick off the clock here at Bank of America Stadium. And the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons will meet for a winner-take-all next week in Atlanta for the right to go to the postseason. The final score, it's Carolina 17 and Cleveland 13. Johnny Manziel didn't last the first half, and here are the standings in the NFC South. Carolina 6-8-1. Atlanta now 5-0 in the division, by the way. 6-9 overall. And again, they're scheduled to meet next week in Atlanta. The winner of that game clinches the NFC South and gets a chance to go to the postseason. Pretty incredible story, as there always are in the National Football League. The final score, the Carolina Panthers advance to a winner-take-all with a 17-13 victory. Coming up next, it's NFL doubleheader action. You'll see Indianapolis taking on Dallas or Buffalo at Oakland. Now for Adam Archuleta, this is Tom McCarthy saying so long from Charlotte. Happy holidays, everyone. An incredible day for the Carolina Panthers as they win it over the Cleveland Browns. Coming up, the NFL Today update will take you to New York for all the scores and highlights.